अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज मैं एक थोड़े से मुख्तलिफ मौजू पे बात करना चाहता हूँ और वो ये है कि व्हेन वी इंटर एन इंडस्ट्री, जब हम किसी भी शोबे में घुसते हैं तो हमारा जो मकसद होता है, ज़ाहिर सी बात है, वो उस इंडस्ट्री का जो मुतालबा है उसके मुवाफ़िक होता है। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, अगर कोई एरोनॉटिक इंजीनियरिंग में जाना चाहता है, so the field as a whole is concerned with aircrafts, is concerned with air travel. Okay, so anyone working in that industry will have an orientation which serves that purpose. ठीक है, how to make planes जो ज़्यादा फ्यूल एफिशिएंट हों, जो ज़्यादा स्पीड पे एयर ट्रैवल कर सकें, जो ज़्यादा हाइट्स पे, ज़्यादा एल्टीट्यूड्स पे जा सकें, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। If someone wants to go into social welfare program, okay, for example, if you are in the polio eradication, अब तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह it's almost over, but एक ज़माने में जब बहुत ज़्यादा था, to finish, to wipe out the disease of polio. So if you are working in that system, तो आपका मकसद यही होगा, यही होना चाहिए कि पोलियो की बीमारी को कैसे ख़त्म किया जाए, and that is why you are in that industry. तो बात का मकसद ये है, लुब्बे लुबाब ये है, द समरी इज़ कि यू इंटर इनटू अ स्पेसिफिक इंडस्ट्री, ओके, बिकॉज ऑफ what that industry strives to achieve as a whole. ठीक है, for example, I am in Islamic finance and Islamic banking. Okay, so this industry as a whole is trying to, at least on a theoretical level, trying to establish a new economic system of the world which does which operates free of riba, which operates without interest or usury, and which operates on justice, which is more equitable, etc etc। हम उसकी डिटेल में जा सकते हैं। बहरहाल, तो मैं इस पॉइंट पे आना चाह रहा हूँ कि when you do enter into the industry, when you do enter into the workforce, or when you meet people and you see how things are being done, uh, what you will notice is that there are people in the industry whose personal motives are directly in contradiction with what the industry as a whole is supposed to achieve, or at least their personal goals and their personal egos and their, मतलब उनका जो ज़ाती मकसद है वो अक्सर ऐसा होता है, it's so important to them that it doesn't matter whether the industry as a whole उसके वजह से सफ़र कर रही है या नहीं कर रही है। They're there to get something and they'll get it. They'll get it or they won't get it. That I don't know, I cannot say. But the thing is, as an outsider, you might have thought, for example, why is Africa such a poor country? यूरोप के पास इतनी दौलत है, अमेरिका के पास इतनी दौलत है, एशिया के पास इतनी दौलत है, but how is it that one country, one continent, one entire continent of Africa is still so utterly poor, is still so utterly undeveloped? ऐसा क्यों है? ऐसा तो नहीं कि दुनिया में रिसोर्सेज की कमी है या पैसे की कमी है, like everything is in abundance. Why is it still so bad? Well, if you ask someone in Africa, and even if you do a bit of research yourself, you'll come to know that the the capitalists the capitalists in Africa themselves are brutal to their own people. They have their personal goals of attaining a lot of wealth or a lot of power or whatever it is that is making them suck resources out of their own country. Okay, so whenever you see an organization or a company or a sector or an industry or a country or a nation that has so much potential, that has so much potential, but it's still not rising, it's still not able to do what it wants to do, it's not because the enemies are too strong, it's not because the opposition is too strong, it's because there are factors internal to that company or to that sector, members within the boundary who are detrimental, and their toxicity, their presence, although from a outside perspective they are the most qualified, they are the most, the big shots of the industry, they know how stuff works, they have experience, they have qualification, etc., etc., but because their personal motive is not aligned to the bigger picture, okay, so it kind of destroys the whole thing basically. I mean, it's not able to grow at a pace it's supposed to grow, you know. If you talk to them, they will give you information about how they have greatly contributed to the cause, but in that great contribution, what you will miss is, you'll miss the main point, is that all of those great contributions was just to push themselves up the line in the industry. The industry or the company or the sector or the field or the subject or the topic or the mission as a whole remains unaccomplished, you know. So this is something I have begun to notice, and I'm sure you all must notice all of these things in your own sectors, in your own life, etc. So I just thought this is something I want to share with you all. And I think what we can do in situations like these is two things basically. The first is stick to the plan, like have a plan which serves the main purpose, which serves the bigger picture, and stick to it. It doesn't matter if everybody else in the world has their own personal motives or is against you, etc., etc. You do your part. And number two is try to get people together, like A might be an enemy of B and B might be an enemy of A, but none of them initially necessarily are your enemy. You can be friends with A, you can be friends with B, and maybe you can have that symbiosis, you can have that mutual exchange of benefits and ideas via yourself, which otherwise directly would not have taken place. So be that element in the industry which brings out the best of people and which connects everybody. uh, it's very, very important. Now we have people who have knowledge but no direction. We have nations who have wealth but they don't know where to spend that wealth. you know People have time but they don't know how to spend that time. So there are resources of all sorts, but people don't know what to make of it. you know so in this midst of confusion, especially in these times, if you're someone who has a vision, if you are someone who sees, who has a plan, who conceives a plan, who has a strategy, so work on it and bring people together and hopefully make this world a better place.